this obviously is because one of the things that Elon Musk did was he sent all of the federal workers an email basically saying that if you don't tell me 5 things that you've done over the past week by Friday evening, that you would get fired and lose your job. Oh. And so, you know, now the federal workers are fighting back.
Yeah.
Now, so, and it was interesting because it shows some of Trump's own appointees were pushing back on Elon Musk doing this. Elon Musk then came out and said, like, he was trolling, in a sense.
But the fact that you could even, like, where is...
Trolling via email?
Like,
yes.
And not only that, like, why bother these people?
Yeah,
like,
facts.
What is that? What point you're distracting federal workers, governmental workers from performing their duties in a time that's already mixed up? Mm-hmm. No one knows really what's happening. There's all these, you know, paid leave.
Oh, we know what's happening. People getting fired. I mean,
yeah. But, like, you know, it's just the fact that you would even do that. What purpose does that serve?
I wouldn't expect him to be sensitive to that because I don't think he understands the feeling of job insecurity, especially at his billionaire status right now. He kind of thinks of it as like, oh, this is fun and games. He's probably like not in a position to empathize with the lives that he's playing with.
Yes.
In this position.
Elon Musk said this was basically a check to see if the employee had a pulse and was capable of replying to an email. This mess will get sorted out this week. A lot of people in for a rude awakening and strong dose of reality. They don't get it, but they will. So he called it because people were actually saying, like, does Doge even have the ability or the manpower to actually not only field all of these emails, but then read them and respond to them? Like, so if every single federal employee writes this email, does Doge then have the ability to go, who's reading them? Who's going to go through them? Who's going to decide whether or not this person did do their job? And so you had a lot of people, even those that got fired, were saying they said I was fired for performance and they had never received any type of performance evaluation.
Yeah.
So now there's a question of if these firings are even actually legal, according to one of this government oversight agency.
Is that their HR, the Human Resources Division?
It says this comes from the Office of Special Counsel, an independent agency that oversees the legal actions taken against federal workers. They're saying all of these mass firings of probationary employees are illegal. Oh, wow. According to one story, they fired a bunch of people at the IRS forgetting that it's tax season, and that now they were trying to find these employees again, but they don't have their email addresses. So then how is this going to work? Particularly if you're somebody that's looking for a return, like you get a tax return and you're looking for that return to do something with it. Miracle. What the hell is going on in Washington, D.C. right now? And is this something that we're going to see? Obviously, I can't believe that this is the first legal challenge. According to folks, people are suing Elon Musk directly over these firings and the things that he's doing. It complicates things when the White House says he has no official position, but yet he's openly saying on social media in writing that he's the person doing all of these things, that he's making this decision, that he's the, I guess, firer in chief, so you will.
Even Speaker of the House Johnson said that Elon was running things and had access to be in the belly of the beast. So yes, it is right to say that this is Elon's doing. The problem is a lot of times people think business folks are smarter than they are. And they're like, oh, we want the government to run as a business.
Yes.
But the business that people are running you have to know what people's jobs are.
Yes.
You have to know what their culture is. You know what their responsibilities are. You do that on the front end. So then when you fire them on the back end, there is not any effects and afterways and shocks to the system.
Just to stop you for 1 second. It says so far, at least 200,000. Yes, that's why I said like 200,000 government workers have been fired or taking a buyout.
Correct.
Whoa.
And the thing is, no one knew what a lot of these workers do because, you don't want to sue the government, but also different agencies work to carry out the policies of the United States government in different locales. So when Elon first did the firing of, for instance, the USAID, there are people who were like, yeah, I'm in Russia. I'm in Kenya. What am I supposed to do? There are people who were like, I now have nobody to report to. How am I going to get the money to book a ticket to come home? How am I going to lock up what I'm doing? Where do I report to close out my office? Is this now government property, or do I just abandon the office? Do I just abandon the apartment? There was nobody there to report to. Another thing is they're using AI. When we're talking about how are they looking at these websites, how are they looking at these emails, how are they making determinations, they're using AI. Yeah. So if the programs are coded wrong, then the result is wrong. For instance, we had the HBCU land investment go away. You had money for people who were disabled went away. And why? Right. Because it said in transition. They thought it was about people who are trans, and didn't realize that when you are disabled, you have to transition from being in youth care to adult placement when you're going through a medical situation, right? So they were looking for code words, and if you have these code words within your job description or what your grant was, that was being that was being frozen. That's one of the reasons why Governor Josh Shapiro had to sue the Trump administration to get that $2 billion freed up, and now it's coming back.
And he won
to Pennsylvania, right? Because they do not know what they're doing; they just know who they want to harm. Right. And for them, the ends will justify the means. Because if they can fire Black people, then it doesn't matter how many accidentally white people they fired.
Yes.
If they can stop queer and trans people from getting money, it doesn't matter how many housing opportunities that they have destroyed.
Right.
If they can harm Black and brown and immigrant people, it doesn't matter that they've basically poisoned our land, our water, and we've basically stopped the government from effectively running because they know who they want to hurt. That's who they're going after. And hopefully by the end of it, the people who are, still left around will be able to continue back and fight. And so that's what's happening. It's chaos and confusion. It's like waking up every day. Like we're living in a soap opera.
Correct.
We really are.
We're living in a soap opera. All of us are accidentally the main characters. We didn't know, we didn't, show up.
Right.
And, for this audition, but we're here, we got casted, and we're just trying to figure out what the next day is going to be.
And I think initially, we knew, obviously Elon was helping Donald Trump. I didn't think that once Trump became president, that now Elon would be taking such a
prominent role.
Yeah, not only prominent role, but there's a clip that you have. You want to play that clip where they're doing these dual interviews. So we saw Elon in the White House with Donald Trump, where Donald Trump is sitting down, Elon's standing over him, Elon's child, the muskrats.
The muskrats, man.
One of the muskrats is running around, and that seemed very weird. Again, I've never seen that. Anything like that before.
He's probably laying down on the couch.
And then now we saw Trump.
Taking a nap.
We see Trump and Elon doing this dual interview.
Which really should be J.D. Vance if there's anybody going to be there.
Well, but again, if Trump's already on record as saying J.D. Vance isn't the future.
Right.
So, again, it's it's weird because...
Decorum be damned, I guess, for having...
It seems like in this interview that Donald Trump is actually in the inferior position, not the superior position. Can you play that clip?
Yeah.
The ship of America must be strong. The ship of America cannot sink. If it sinks, we all sink with it.
John, this is what drives you.
Yes.
This is important. It says text.
So that was Trump trying to speak. And here's Sean Hannity basically nah, I really don't want to hear what you have to say.
Someone said, be quiet, Trump. The president is speaking.